Hello. So I'm in a bit of a reflective mood today. I've been playing some old music. This is Randy Crawford, and I love Randy Crawford. 3 CDs in here. I've always loved Randy Crawford. There she is, beautiful lady. So so just chilling to a bit of Randy Crawford, and it's kind of put me in mind of a couple of friends really that I used to know around about that sort of time, and one ex-girlfriend actually. But it's funny, isn't it? Music can put you in a place and time, and bring the memories back. And when you listen to the music, when I listen to the music, I can even think of people's names and all sorts, even conversations we had. It's really powerful, I think, music. It does lots to you. So this little video, it's going to be, I suppose, a bit reflective. It's going to be, I'm sure you will be able to resonate with what I'm going to say in this video. And really, it's talking about people that fade away, or we fade away in their lives, whatever. It's my camera, it's not straight, is it? That's probably straighter. What can I put under there? I should have got organised. I'll fold a bit of paper up, that's all. It's only tiniest amount. Let's try that. Too much, or that'll do, that's fine. I'm happier with that. Yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to put yourself in mind of all this, really. So listening to some old songs and what have you, I was listening to a band called Jericho. I love Jericho. They're an old 80s band. Nobody really knows them or heard of them. But I love them. They did like 3 albums, I think, no more than that. I absolutely loved them to bits at the time. I still love them now. And just wondered if they've done anything new in the last few years. They haven't. And then the other day I was looking. Now, in August, it's my birthday. I'm 26 already. So yeah, my 26th birthday is coming up. And what have they decided to do for my birthday? A couple of days before my birthday, they've decided to release a box set. And it's got, I think there's 4 CDs in there. And you got all the albums, the 3 or 4 albums that they did. And then you got some remixes and some live stuff and some unheard of stuff. And it's going to be good. It really, for me, it's going to be good. And I was thinking about that old music, that old 80s music and stuff like that, and the places that went along with it, the friends that go along with it, the jobs that go along with it, the places you live go along with it. And it's all connected, isn't it, to that piece of music or whatever, that band or whatever. And then it makes you wonder, it makes me wonder, and I'm sure this is a bit that you can probably resonate with, where do these people go? When people fade away, where do they go? And really, I think the crux of this video is the importance of goodbyes, the importance of maybe saying goodbye or explaining yourself a little bit, because that is where the hurt comes in, unfortunately. I made a video a long time ago saying about the cancer. I had 4 people who, they call it cancer ghosting. And that's exactly what I had. I've never heard from those people from that day onwards. And it's been a few years. And I'm quite amazed, really, but it is what it is. The worst thing is, right, you will never know when you've been ghosted or whatever, even just a friendship, ignore the cancer side of it, but a friendship, when that just suddenly fades away or whatever, the worst thing is that you will never know. So how I deal with that, I just wish them well. I just think, okay, we were friends for that amount of time, and now they've moved on, and good luck to them, and I wish them well, and thank you for being in my life for the time that you were in my life. That's what I think. And I think it's easier that way, because the way I look at it, there was a time when you weren't friends. Before you were friends, you weren't friends. And now after the friendship, they've moved on and you're no longer friends. So you were no longer friends and you're no longer friends. You weren't friends in the beginning. You're no longer friends now. So that bit is the important bit. And as I say, we'll never know the whys and the wherefores and all the rest of it. I've got a Slurpee. Don't you have me a Slurpee as we chat, okay? There we go. Cheers. So that's how I tend to deal with the situation, is just think, oh, well, you know, it's thank you for being in my life for however long, and good luck to you. You know, it's easier that way. There is a bit of hurt that comes along with it sometimes, of course, but I think most of us, we've been on the receiving end of that, but also the giving end of that. So when you end a friendship, those people or that person or whatever, they will make themselves the victim when they tell anybody else about your friendship. Oh, I used to have a friend called Bri, but he shit on me, he walked away and left me all lonely, whatever. They make up a story that suits them, the one-sided story that, poor on me, I'm the victim. And is that the case? Rarely so, I would have thought. With me, it's rarely so. So I just thought I'd tell you about a couple of things, not that it matters, but a couple of things in my mind. I like to empty my head, don't I, in my videos. And just a couple of things in my head. So I had a friend years and years ago. I was about 20, maybe, something like that. And I worked with this guy, and he was a nice guy, and, you know, we'd become friends. There was a group of us, really. We used to go to a lot of raves and festivals and different things and, you know, whatever. And this guy used to come round sometimes, and we'd have maybe a takeaway and a chat and, you know, nice guy, you know, no problem. One or two of the group didn't really like him, but that's fine. That's up to them, you know. I got on well with him. And after a couple of years or so, I remember he was kicked out. His dad kicked him out. He didn't have a job at the time. And I think what happens, because it's years ago, I'm nearly 26. I must have been 20 at the time, so it's about 6 years ago. He didn't have a job at the time, and he hadn't worked for some time. And I think what happened was his dad gave him an ultimatum. You got 6 months or whatever to get a job, and yeah, if you don't have a job, you're out. Anyway, he phoned me up one time and he said, could I sleep on your sofa for a few nights? Now, he'd done that the odd time anyway, so no problem, you know. And I said, yeah, no problem, why? And then he said, you know, I'm going to be kicked out. And I said, well, look, I don't want all your stuff here. And he said, I don't have a lot of stuff. He said, I've never been into stuff. So it's just him and a bag of clothes, really. And I said, well, in that case, yeah, you know, that's all right for a while. Anyway, so he kind of moved in, and that was fine, and we got on absolutely fine, no problem. Nice to have the company, I suppose, at times. And he was there for nearly a year. I think 8 to 10 months, something like that. I've no idea. As I say, it's a long time ago. During that time, we went to several parties. Somebody got married and whatever, you know, and it was just a good laugh and, you know, nice person. Again, still a nice person. I would have classed him as a really good friend. That's what I would have classed him as. And I remember one of my nephews wanted to go swimming on a Saturday, one particular Saturday. And I said to him, you know, I'm going to take one of my nephews swimming in 2 weeks' time on the Saturday. Do you fancy coming? And he said, nah, not really. I said, okay, that's cool. So that was that. Anyway, he did say to me a couple of days prior, about the Thursday, he said, where are you going swimming? And I said, and so I said, do you want to come with us? And he said, no, I don't feel up to it or whatever, you know, not interested, something like that. And I said, okay. And then he said, what time are you going? And I said, well, at 11, why is that? You know, and he said, so what, you starting at 11 or you leaving at 11? And I said, I have no idea why. I said, I think the thing starts at 11. And you don't take on board certain conversations at times. But anyway, cut a long story short on this, we went swimming, and when I got back, he'd moved away apparently, and he left a note. And I always remember this note. I had a block of, what do they call it, note lits or whatever. They're all brightly coloured, like neon colours. Don't know what they call them. Little squares with a sticky top on them. He wrote on there, "See you. See you. See ya." So he wrote, "See you." That was it. And he stuck that to the top of my fire, my gas fire, which I would have seen, immediately walking in. And I came back with my nephew as well, And on the way back, I said, I've got a few quid left over. We could maybe get burger and chips. I'll pop in and see if my mate wants burger and chips. So that's what we did. And I popped in and I thought, oh, it just looked a bit different in there, where normally he had a bag of clothes and a couple of bits and bobs, but that was missing. And I thought, what's that? There's a note over there, "See you." That was it. And that's not painful, but there is a sense of hurt there, because I thought, well, why on earth didn't he just say, I'm going to move out or whatever? I wouldn't have minded. I mean, he can do whatever he does, grown man and all the rest of it. Never understood it. And, you live the rest of your life not understanding it and never seeing that person ever again. And that's the end of it, But, hello, bud. You just wish them well. That's what I do. I just wish them well and I hope that everything's fine. Now, normally you never ever see that person ever again. On this occasion, I did. 3 years later, because he'd moved away and he was working in a particular place, and then he'd lost his job there and he had to move back to his parents again in the same town. And somebody had mentioned to me, they said that he's back. I saw him the other day and I said, "Really?" I said, "Well, I don't know where he's been," because all this time I never heard a word, not a word. And anyway, I bumped into him one day, which I knew I would eventually, and we got chatting, and I said, "I still remember that day that you went out." I said, "We went swimming, and I was going to get us burger and chips." And he said, "Oh, was you?" Like that, all sad on, "Was you?" And I said, "Yeah," and I walked in, and you'd left that note. Well, I say note. And he went, "Yeah, sorry about that." I said, "You couldn't have just said thanks, or, I've moved out. You couldn't have said anything." And he said, "I didn't know what to say." Well, in that case, say nothing, really. Just "see you." It didn't make any sense, Anyway, we got on, and he even come down a few times. We just had a coffee or whatever, or a takeaway or something, a bit of a chat. And cut a long story short, but I then moved, and I moved a long way, and I decided that we weren't really friends, not after all this time and what have you. So, so I didn't keep up the friendship, but nor did he. And clearly the 3 or 4 years, whatever it was, when he was away, he never even phoned me once or anything. I didn't have his phone number. It was before mobile phones, but I had a landline, so I don't think he was overly interested. But that's one little story. That's how that is. Another one that I can think of, this is all to do with music really, it's just popped this stuff into my mind. I'm sure we can resonate. I'm sure you've had a friend who's just faded away for no particular reason. You've never known where or why or how or whatever. Or perhaps something happened between the friendship or whatever, or you just felt it was going nowhere, or you had to step away. Perhaps that's the case. So a bit of both really, this one is. I look at it from my side, but I suppose it's a bit of both. So I had friends, and I was travelling, and I used to go and see them sometimes if I was in the area. We'd phone up, occasionally, and have a chat or a quick text or whatever. And then I was in the area that they'd moved to. They'd only just moved about 6 months prior. They'd moved to this new area, new to them area. And I was in the area, and I wasn't quite sure where they lived. But anyway, I give them a phone call, and we had a little chat, and they said, "Where are you?" And I said, and they said, "Oh my God, you know, you're 6 miles away, that's all. 6 miles." I said, "Really?" And they said, "Yeah." And they said, "Look, I'll tell you what, let's link up, let's meet up, we'll go for a pub lunch or something like that." And I said, "Yeah, that'd be lovely, it'd be really, really good. I haven't seen you for a while, so that'd be great." And it was a couple, and the lady of the couple said, "It won't be this week," because it was like Wednesday or whatever. She said, "But I'll definitely phone you next week." And I said, "Well, okay, well, I look forward to hearing from you. That'd be fantastic." She said, "We're really looking forward to seeing you, and it'd be nice to have a pub lunch." And I said, "Look, I've sold some paintings just lately for decent money, so I will buy the food, as a treat, why not?" And she said, "Oh, you don't have to do that." And I said, "Well, I'd like to, so that's what I'll do." And she said, "Well, okay then. So as I say, it won't be this week, but I'll definitely phone you early next week." And I said, "Okay, I'll leave it up to you then. I'll wait for your phone call." She said, "Yep, definitely." And that was that. And anyway, cut a long story short on this, but the following week, no phone call. The next week, next month, nothing. I was in that area for about 3 months, nothing. I then moved around the UK and what have you. And a year later, I went back to that area, and I thought, I never ever heard another word. Never. Not a single word. That's quite ignorant, I think, quite rude, quite... well, it's not very friendly, we'll say. Now, of course, I could have phoned them, but I did say, "I'll wait for your phone call." She said, "Yeah, definitely." And it never came. So I did. I was waiting on their phone call. And I remember after about a year, because I was back in the area, I thought, shall I phone them? Because I was going to be there another couple of months. I thought, shall I phone them and say, what on earth is going on? And I thought, no, because relaying that phone call in my head, it was nice of me, really, because I said, "I'm in your area." They said, "Well, let's meet up for a pub lunch." And I said, "Well, I'll buy the pub lunch." And then she said, "Okay, it won't be this week, it'll be next week. I'll definitely phone." So it wasn't really up to me to chase them, was it, after a year? So I left it for the time that I was there. And I remember the day I was leaving there, I deleted their numbers and got rid of them off Facebook and stuff like that, because how can you be friends? You're not friends. Clearly you're not friends. But, I wish them well and good luck to them. They can do whatever they want to do in life, so good for them. They've made their decision, and I wasn't part of their friendship or whatever, so that's great. I wish them well, good luck, and we all move on. That's how I look at it. But, if they're telling that same story to somebody, they'll be the victim, I expect, in some way, whatever way. I don't know how they could, but they'll twist and turn the story. Oh, they'll probably say, "Oh, we had this friend and he never ever phoned us, and he went off travelling, never phoned us, we waited all year," something like that. Although, of course, that wasn't the case. But it is funny, isn't it? You can have these other people, these friendships that just fade away. And you just wonder, don't you, sometimes, what on earth has happened? Where did these people go? Good friends and what have you. I remember I was speaking to one of my nephews years ago, and he was working in a warehouse for 2 or 3 years, and he met this guy on the same day. I think he started on the same day, and they become really, really good friends, and they used to go out and about doing all the stuff that young people do, and they were in and out of each other's houses. They used to kip round each other's houses sometimes, and all the parties and God knows what else they used to get up to and everything else. And then one or the other left, and I can't remember which way round it was, and that was the end, completely the end of the friendship. Very strange. And I was walking through the town with my nephew at the time, and he said, "Oh, see that guy over there?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he told me about the story. And I said, you're not going to say hello? And he said, no, it's been a couple of years or more, 3 years, you know. And I said, oh, fair enough, because, I mean, you don't, do you? You don't, after years, you don't really go over and say hello. It's different if you met somebody on holiday or whatever, but this was like your mate who you went out drinking with, you stayed at his house, and, you know, a normal friendship, happy friendship and what have you. No, Bo, not yet. And, yeah, it's funny, isn't it? And that guy, for some reason, perhaps the pair of them just decided, no, this is not a friendship. I've no idea. But I thought that would resonate with people, really, because we've all been in that boat, I'm sure we have, to some degree. I have had, through the power of music, I have had friends that I've been listening to a song and I thought, oh my God, I can remember, you know, and then blah, blah, blah. And I think, what on earth happened? Well, I can't remember ex-girlfriends or friends or colleagues, people that you worked with, whatever. I can't remember what happened to them. But I remember them, and I remember they were there, and then they were just kind of not there, you know. And again, we must all have that, mustn't we, really? But I think the important message is, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. People move on, or people ghost you, cancer ghosting or friendship ghosting, whatever it is. There's also grief ghosting I've heard of. So if somebody really close to you dies, then you might find that one or two of your closest friends just suddenly vanish. Just when you need them most, eh? It's weird. You know, when you've got cancer, you need those friends more than ever, and they're not there. And when somebody close to you dies, you need those friends and they're not there. It's a very strange, it's a weird human thing, psyche sort of thing that sometimes happens. I mean, being aware of it, I think being aware of it means that you would never ever do it. I mean, I'm fully aware that if somebody is going through whatever trauma in their life, then they need you. They need me. If I'm their friend, they need me more than ever. So you step up a bit and you make sure you are there. You are available. You don't just fade away, walk away, ignore them. Quite heartless, quite cruel. But people do it because they need to do it for whatever reason. They know the reason, or perhaps they don't. I think they know the reason, and we have to just accept it, and again, just wish them well. It's a bit of a sad situation, and it can be a bit painful, but, you know, it is up to them. You know, nobody says, do they, that if somebody's your friend, they're going to be your friend forever. We've all known friends, even good friends, close friends, that are in our life just for a time, you know, and they fade away, or we fade away. Perhaps, I don't know, the friendship no longer serves us or works for us, or we've changed as people, or they have, or who knows, you know. I mean, sometimes it is just, it's like the letter Y sometimes, you know. You can be following that same path and you're fine and you're fine and fine. And then you get different things, hobbies or interests, or you meet different people, and very soon, before too long, you know. So, and then you're too far apart, perhaps. Who knows? Anyway, I just thought I'd share that, really. Just a bit of a chat while I'm having a Slurpee. I've been ordered to go out and play for the second time this morning. It's still quite early, 10 o'clock. And, yeah. So I've got to go and play BALL in the garden. I'll take my Slurpee with me. Thank you for listening. Now, I'm not making this video about anybody in particular, really, apart from the people that I've mentioned, but I'm not saying to anybody anything in particular at all. But what I am saying to finish this is I am very, very grateful to certain friends that have stuck around through thick and thin, and I'll always be in their life and they'll always be in my life, and you know that, you can feel it, you know. And I've got some amazing friends. I am blessed with some lovely, lovely, true, decent friends. They didn't walk away when I had cancer. They wouldn't walk away if I was grieving. And I'll always be there for them. They know it. And I know it. I know they're there for me. So thank you so much to those lovely, glorious people. Take care of yourselves. We'll be back another day. And be well. Ta-ra.